see you again, my friends. I hope you are well and that you had fun. There's my book, adding to your book this week. I want to take some time to show you what I added to mine and also a couple things that I learned. I added more color to some of my pages, some more lines along the folds and tears. Still not all full yet, but that's okay. I added some more on some of my other pages, along with a little quote that says, "If not today, then when?" which spurs me on to action. And I also decided to make another page. Before I mentioned when we were doing folds, one of them reminded me of fortune teller. So I actually wanted to make a fortune teller page on mine where I added some different things under each flap. So those were some of the things that I did. I don't know if you can see some of the things I did this week. Some of the things I learned was that in addition to the markers, which I was mostly using last week, crayons work well, but I also found some old wax pastels with my stuff, and they're similar to crayons, but they added a much more kind of intense, brilliant color than the crayons did. So I'm going to be using a lot more of these. I also learned that I need to use some transparent tape on some of my folds because my book is so old and crinkly, some of the pages were starting to tear. So I added tape on some of those folds and it seems to be working okay, and I can still fold and unfold the flaps. Let's see what else. I learned that I really liked outlining the folds, both the actual folded paper and what it's up against, because I like kind of the different lines that come out. So I went back through and outlined a lot of my folds. And I also keep an art journal that I like to work in, and I want to do some of the things I've done in here in my art journal as well. So I hope you learned some things too while you were working and adding to your book. Let's begin today with a question. I'll go ahead and write it in my book and you can write it in yours too. What is making me smile today? So take a couple minutes and write that question in your book and go ahead and answer it. Today we will need our books, of course, the pictures that you set aside to add, writing implements that you want to use, what works well for you, and also some type of glue. A glue stick works really well. If you only have liquid glue or even tape, you can use those instead. I want to introduce you to my little friend. You can see him okay. So he's pretty much a visual embodiment of how I often feel, and he's really good for me because anytime I look up and I see this little guy, he makes me smile. I don't know about you, but sometimes I get going and so focused on what I'm doing and kind of intense, and he's one of the things that I look at and take a moment to breathe, smile, and sometimes I even think, well, I don't know, how am I feeling today? So he's just a real encouragement to me, and he never fails to make me smile. I hope you did your homework, and if you have that picture with you, go ahead and take it out. If not, take a moment and go find one. We're going to add our very own little rabbits to our books today. Open to a new page. I'm going to choose one about here, I think. and grab the picture that you selected and put it in the center over the binding of your book. And just kind of press a little fold in so it has an indentation. And you can pull it out and fold it over to kind of go over that crease. And that way when we glue it, it will go in a little bit further to the binding. So grab your glue and go ahead and put glue on the back side of your picture. If you have liquid glue, you might want to wipe the excess off with your finger or spread it out evenly so that it will go on over your pages evenly. So after you get glue to the edges, go ahead and put it back in your book, kind of pushing it in the creased area and then pressing it smooth and flat out from the center. You may need to kind of hold your pages at an angle so that your book, so that you can adequately smooth those pages. If you have any edges that are poking up, you can add a little bit more glue and then press it down again. So over the top or underneath, let's write, how do you feel today? I'm gonna go ahead and use my marker. And I think I'll go over it with another color just for fun. As usual, mine's kind of messy because I'm a messy writer. If you want to add anything else around the outline of your picture, feel free to do that. Excellent. So now I'm going to fold my pages over to the center because I like to be surprised. So I don't know if you actually know it's there, if it could still be considered a surprise per se, but I like knowing that it's going to be hiding in there for me. But also because I'm going to be adding some more writing to the other sides, and that gives me some columns. You know what that sound means. It's time for the quote of the day. This quote is by Rosa Luxemburg, and when I saw it, it really made me stop and think. So this one made me think maybe sometimes I need to be more intentional about stepping out of my comfort zone. Okay, where were we? Now that we have our little guy glued in, just take a moment to open those pages. So on the inside here, as well as on the outside, I'm going to just make a list of words, ways that I sometimes feel. And my list may not make sense to you, and your list may not make sense to anybody else. But I'm just going to start writing these. The last thing that I want to do today is add a continuous line. I think I'm going to make mine go from maybe the title page here to maybe around page 20. So choose a place, and I'm gonna just start here, and when I get to the edge, either the top, bottom, or side, I'm gonna flip the page and keep going from wherever I ended. So go ahead, start drawing your line. Oh, I went even further than I was planning to go. I guess I'll end right here. Thank you again for joining me for another salvage. So once again, I have some things I'd like you to do before we meet again next time. Number 1, add to that continuous line. Start by adding another color that follows the entire length of the line. And then after you do that, I would like you to add some words to that line. And it could be song lyrics, a poem, grocery list, a note. It doesn't matter. Just follow that line for at least several pages. It doesn't need to be the whole thing. 2, find an envelope for next time. And it could be something you received in the mail or just envelopes you have lying around the house. The most important thing to make sure is that it'll fit in your book. My book's a little bit smaller, so it might be challenging to find something. But if nothing else, I can cut an envelope down to size, or you can even make one. So no excuses. And third thing, keep adding to your book. So this is your book. You can fill it with whatever you want. And I want you to keep gathering things that you find interesting too. Pictures, printed words, whatever you find that is meaningful and resonates with you or just makes you smile. So I'm always on the lookout for little things that I have, whether it's from magazines or cards or envelope stamps or just random words that I find that I like. So once you gather those, just add them to your envelope that has the extra pages, and that way when you're adding to your book, you've got them right there, and you don't have to go looking for it. If you want to share something that you learned or you found that you enjoyed or that didn't work well at all, I'd love to hear from you. Thanks so much, and I'll see you next time.